Hey, how's everyone going? We got another
How's
edition.
everyone going?
We were just having some fun, telling tall tales, lovely stories, and it just cuts right in, bam! And it's this
Yo,
way here for Nina.
yes.
Benfiquistas Worldwide, another edition bringing a lovely person from around the globe. My good friend from south of the border, in
Yes.
the far, far south, where they still get quite snow still, because I'm in Canada, so the south to them is their north.
Yeah.
Um, or south to me is their north. There we go. I can talk now.
Yes.
But yeah, Nina,
Hi.
hi. How
Hi.
you doing?
Good.
Good,
I'm good.
good. I got a lovely photo of you here. I know you'll be watching it afterwards, but you had the lovely pleasure of going to Stadio Luge not too long
Yeah.
ago. That was amazing.
Yeah, that was awesome.
I
That was
love
great.
love living through the photos. It was gonna be me, Nina, and Alex, but
Yes.
unfortunately, Alex got called into action, and he's got to go find the Macho Man Randy Savage and wrestle him to defend his title. So that's what
Basically.
Alex is gonna be doing.
So he
Uh,
had other plans.
Other plans. It's okay. I still love him, but I will mock him
Same.
for it though, because the show has to go on sometimes.
We definitely have to give him shit for this, but
Yeah, I'm gonna have some fun with him. 'Cause he's a great guy, amazing guy.
yeah, he's great.
But
I
he's
love
has, he
him.
has put on the belt. He's off to action. Hooah! So yeah,
Yeah, something like that.
so the format of Beefications Worldwide, which I do love, is just it's a fun way to just to get to meet other Benfiquistas, other parts of the world, and for myself, way back in the day, I was a moderator on some forums, got to meet Benfiquistas that way. Then on comes Twitter, and on comes other people, and then it's going okay, meeting some people, and then boom, here comes Nina, just plowing through the interwebs, just massive smile, and it's like she breaks the internet with that smile, right? Just flying through. And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, who is this person? And it's full of laughter, full of joy. So I wanted to start this off by asking, okay, Benfica brings us all a lot of joy. And for you,
Yeah.
when did it happen? Like, at what point in life was it like, I like this. Let's do a little bit more of this Benfica business.
Um, yeah, I was little. I would always hear it playing on in the background on the radio with my dad. We were radio listeners. We wouldn't go to the bar or like watch it or whatever. We were just listening. And uh, back in the day, before we had Gillette, best football team plays with the goat. We had this thing called Foxborough Stadium, and Benfica had come as well as Santa Clara too, which was another one of the teams that I liked growing up. I really didn't know the difference between the two because they had the same exact symbol. So I had two shirts with the same symbol. One was Benfica, one was Santa Clara. So Santa Clara is the Azorian team, obviously, and so and because we're from there, that that's like our home team, but my dad was always a Benfica fan and always very kept up with the games. So when we went to those maybe late 90s, early 2000s, so we would go, and I loved it. I loved the atmosphere. We ended up going to a few more ladies soccer games, so I actually got to watch Mia Hamm play, and that was like, to me back then, that was my soccer idol, was Mia Hamm. So I
That's
loved
awesome.
it, and so it was really cool. So that's how I really got into the whole sport too, in general. But obviously, with our upbringing and stuff, Benfica was more prominent in the house. So yeah.
That's very cool. And for people who don't know, you were born in San Miguel and Açores, which
Hmm.
is where Santa Clara is from. And for a lot of people who, let's say, follow Santa Clara, there's a lot of these teams. And my mom's side is from Terceira. And so you had Angres, you had Praense,
Hmm.
Lusitania. Lusitania was like a green team with some affiliations with the
Yeah.
sporting varieties. And you had Angres and a few other ones, Praense, that had that eagle and that red look to them. And sometimes you kind of have these, like, I don't want to call them sister clubs, but
Yeah.
there is deep roots and deep affiliations, and in a way, back in the old days, it was a way of kind of these
Hmm.
clubs spreading themselves out. It was like the first
Well,
early
it
days,
was the
like a feed team, right?
founder, the founder of Santa Clara was a Benfica, was a Benfiquista,
Yeah,
so that's why our symbol is the same, pretty much.
which is pretty cool, and
Yeah.
it's awesome. And there's all these connections, which is fun to watch, and so that's kind of cool. That's very cool. So you'd watch them on the radio, not watch, but you listen, which is a very
Yeah,
different experience because I've done that several
very different.
times. I remember many times on the road with my old man just listening to it, and there's just a certain level of energy that these broadcasters bring to it. It's
Yeah.
funny. Sometimes I wish I could perfectly sync up the radio guy when I'm watching Benfica
Yeah,
because like they make
it's
a pass from A to
it's
B
perfect, and
sound
you can
like it's
envision
something.
it. You know, it's good for someone who has a good imagination or can actually picture everything this as if they were watching it themselves, like right on TV.
Yeah.
But
So,
yeah,
so when
they're
did
wild.
the moment come when he started watching them more on television? Was it when like the internet came along and it was more accessible, or when that?
Yeah, it was pretty much, I mean, the only TV that we would see like for the games were whatever RTP would play, if
Okay,
they
yeah,
play, them, if they play the game. But it was more like accessible through the ever occurring, build of the technology and the internet. It was a lot of that helped me watch more.
yeah.
Probably even like high school, like college, I was starting to watch way more. And then of course, you like it better, and then I never like really listened to it on the radio after that, unless I was in the car. But
Yeah, unless you have to, if you could visually see
right,
it, there's something like
and
yeah,
I still do to this day if I'm in the car and I have no means of watching it. Obviously I'm more focused on the road, but I'll put it on, the local Portuguese radio station, and I'll listen to the game. That, but
So actually,
it's good.
I know, and I've come to visit your neck of the woods a few times, and clearly there's a lot of Benfiquistas out there.
Yeah,
Um, and there's people that support different clubs out there also. I've met Portistas, I've met Sportingistas out there. What would you
yeah,
say
yeah.
when you go out and about, you go to the Portuguese clubs, you go to Igreja, you go around. If you go, hey, how many people are Benfiquistas, Portistas, Sportingistas? How would you say? What would you say the ratio is? It
um
equally bound between the three? Is it the majority
it's
Benfiquistas? Or like,
Mm, so I think it just depends. Well, obviously it depends on the day you go, but I think too it's a good mix. Obviously, you see more Benfiquistas. Like, I've been in places where the majority are Benfica fans. For example, in the summertime, all we have around is festas. We have festas for different churches, or Day of Portugal, and you'll be surprised that even as like especially when we have the Day of Portugal, it's at the replica Portas de Cidade in Fall River, and you'll see more Benfica jerseys out in the crowd than actual Portugal jerseys. They'll actually wear club jerseys instead of, Day of Portugal. You think,
yeah,
oh, let's just put a Portuguese jersey on, but you'll actually see a lot more Benfiquistas by seeing their jerseys. It's really cool.
yeah. Well,
So
well, it's a my old man, which he sometimes would love to banter quite a bit, is to be Portuguese just to be Benfiquista. You know what I mean? Like, just
yeah,
the others
well,
hate that. The others hate that, but
yeah,
hey, a little truth, right? That's amazing.
yeah.
So, let's say kind of go. So you brought up you see everyone wearing their kits and stuff and the Benfica gear.
Mhm.
At what point did you get your first, let's say, Benfica jersey? When did that finally happen one day for you?
Um, and it was run down Rui Costa jersey.
Nice. So you got an
Yeah,
old school Rui Costa jersey back in the day. That's awesome.
yeah,
Now
yeah.
he still was he?
It's in the attic somewhere because I'm like saving it
Oh,
for like,
soon enough. That's like a classic. You get scared of wearing certain things like that.
yeah. So like like just regular short shirt, like that would say like Campeão Nacional or whatever or
Yeah.
something like that, and it would say like so many from um probably '02 to like shirts like turned into jerseys once I could like actually buy them for myself. So it was like I had a few of like shirts, and then the rest started all the jerseys like in a row that I would get year after year. But yeah, I'd say like middle school, like uh,
Very cool, actually.
yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah.
Um, and in terms of like a player, now Rui Costa is a legend for a lot of us. Was that kind of like the first player you gravitated to, or was there someone else you gravitated to younger?
No, I loved Simon Sabrosa, and I
Awesome,
loved
yeah.
Nuno Gomes was my favorite, like one of
Mr. 21. It's kind of one of these. It's I don't know. Everyone's different, but to me, it's like there's some players that even though they're gone, they
mm,
just own a number, and it sounds
yeah,
silly. Like Nuno Gomes is a good player. It isn't like he was like a legendary top scorer. It isn't like we won a
no,
European Cup with him. But something about the number 21 and Nuno Gomes doesn't matter how many other like Pizzi's
yeah,
21, but Nuno Gomes to me is like the original 21, even though
yeah,
he's not the original
yeah,
21. You know, there's been like a million other guys,
yeah,
but it's funny. He kind of had that lasting effect. I think it was maybe because he was also not only a leader for Benfica but also for the Seleção, right?
sure, yeah, oh yeah, for sure. My
Yeah.
gosh,
That's
yeah,
very cool. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna quickly share a video because for those who most would know or everyone would know that watch this, and Nina does the Águias with my lovely Cynthia and
yeah,
lovely Mariana, and they way back when, and that was over 2 years ago. We had a nice, fun trip together as a bunch of
yeah,
friends, which was outstanding. We kind of rented a place, hung out for a bit of time, and they put together a lovely video, which is on their channel. So I'm just gonna play a tiny clip of it real quickly for everyone to check out, and
sure.
I'll give some details on where you can find it in a second.
Hello, this is Carolyn from the Águias. We're already tailgating. We got Mario over here. We got a whole crew behind us.
And for you who haven't picked it up yet, that was the New Jersey game, Juventus versus Benfica, that we all got to attend. Got some more clips. What a great game this is. It was amazing to check out. I absolutely had a blast watching that. It's partly obviously for watching Benfica. But to watch it with friends, man, amazing.
That's a different experience. It's like it's not even with friends. It's like we're family. Like yeah, I don't feel like we're even like, on the scale or whatever of friends. I think it's so much more than that. It's like
Well, it's you're the sister from another mister.
that. Yeah, definitely. That is like exactly what it is. Yes.
And it was fun because throughout that trip, we spent a lovely amount of time together. Myself, Cynthia,
Yeah.
Mariana came down from the UK and spent some time with us. Uh, Lots of food, lots of laughs.
Hmm.
Um, and
Yeah.
to me, and that's what I kind of want to get a little bit out of you also, is the club's amazing. It's fun to watch. But the only thing better than Benfica is the Benfiquistas around it, the friends and family that come from
There's,
it.
there's one thing celebrating, a good game by yourself, but it's another celebrating a good game with people that you love and who respect, you, and like people that have the same love as you, for, the team. So it's like, I know from previous years, like, when I was growing up, like, my friends around here, they're like second generation, third generation, so they don't get the whole soccer hype. But me, you know, I always thought it was awesome. I would celebrate, like, yay. But it's nothing in comparison to, being with people and like feeling that energy, because that others feel the same way as you. So it's very, very, um, I mean, it was, I just had such a blast on that trip. That was so much fun. Like, so much fun. Minus the part that you told me that we were late
Oh
to the game.
yeah, yeah. It's all good. I share that.
Mario.
Can I share that story? Yeah, share that
Yeah.
story. Share that story.
No,
Yeah.
you do.
Oh
You do.
no, it's yeah, no,
You
no.
do. You
Okay,
do.
so it's game day. Game day. We're all staying in New Jersey together, and we all wake up. We had some fun the previous day, and obviously a little Festivus, and it's all good. But it's game day, and it's time to get up. And I'm an early riser, no matter what. Doesn't matter how late up we stay. But long story short, we're all up, and Nina hasn't gotten up yet, and we're kind of sitting there. It's like, oh, she's about to wake up, and I look, and the clock in the kitchen that we were staying was busted, and I forgot the game. The game was at like 1 o'clock or something, wasn't it? Like 1 o'clock,
The
two
game
o'clock,
was at
or
1. Yeah.
yeah. But the clock was like 1:30 or something. It was like broken at a certain time, and it was like the clock is there. Her room door is right there, so she opens the clock's right there, and so like I hear the rummaging in the room. I'm like, guys, so we're all dressed. I'm like, everyone, shh, calm down, calm down. You open it, you're this shovel just waking up. Oh, oh my gosh, Nina, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, Nina. We all slept in. We all slept. The game just started. We're missing the game. And she's like, shush. And
I
you jump
literally
in.
was like, it's one of those jolts you get, like when your boss is calling you saying, "Hey, are you on your way to work?" and you're still in bed, and you're like, "Yeah," and you just whip the freaking covers off of your bed, and you imagine that standing up. So I'm just already like groggy still because I just woke up, and Mario's like, "We gotta go, we're late, blah blah blah." Ah! I'm like, I will change in 2 seconds.
You had this like Benfica hoodie you slept in, and
Yeah.
you're like, I'm good. You put it on. They gotta go. Shit. That's okay. We got this. I love it. I love it. It was so
God,
great. It was so
that
great.
was
Oh my
crazy.
god, that was so much fun. It was so
Yeah,
much fun.
yeah,
And in talking with and you and the girls had a great time.
yeah.
It was fantastic. Made some great friends. I'm gonna
Yes,
see
we
if
did.
I gotta see if I can find the
Like
photo.
first time we like met a lot of the people, from Twitter at
Yeah.
this event. So it's like, at one point it was me and Dylan forever have this um inside joke. When Dylan first showed up to our thing, I was recording, and in the recording I was like, "Oh, Dylan," and I was like, "Dylan," and I'm like
It's
probably
my
7 beers
Dylan or
in.
something like that. You
I'm
yell out.
literally 7 beers in, and I'm like this, and I'm like, "My Dylan, my Dylan."
And he's like, "Whoa!" He's like, "Hello, hello, nice to
Yeah,
meet you."
and
He's like, we had been there since morning drinking,
yeah,
and he just showed up like several hours later,
on
stone
the
cold
way.
sober with his old man.
Yeah. And like the best part of it was just like right after that, I just started crying, and I just was like so happy to be alive in that moment, that like it happened after I met Dylan. So I'll always just like remember him like, oh my God, But it's so nice. And We also met like Walter for the first time. I freaking loved him. And I still remember he told me he was gonna marry me in Hobbs Beach, so I'm holding on to that for one day soon. um but no, so we just like met so many people, and it was so good to like I was we met Chris for the first time, we met Alfie. It was awesome, awesome. Even Patricia, obviously you didn't go to the game, but the night before, right? I think it was the night before.
Yeah, Bruno from for the people who listen 3-2 gush.
Yeah,
He's the Portisha on there, but he's a New
yeah,
Jersey fella, and we met up with him the day before.
yeah.
Yeah, it was nice to kind of hang
It
out,
was
meet his
nice.
family
Yeah, it
and
was
things of the
cool.
sort.
Hmm.
Very funny because we
So
won.
it was, yeah. Yeah.
We were talking about how we're the
No, we
best.
lost. No, wait, we
No, no,
lost.
we won the championship that year. I think.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah, we
that's
had
right.
won the championship. I think
We
that year.
lost the game, but
Lost the game.
whatever.
Yeah, that's true. But
Uh, but yeah, I mean, Benfica has given me such a a gift. I feel like, being a Benfica fan is fine and great, but like I said, like being together with this huge community and like, get to know these people on a personal level, and
I'm sorry, I got a little friend here. Yeah, she's very excited because she knows who it is, so she wants to say a quick hello. So
Hi.
hi. So she got very excited here.
So
Awesome.
cute.
All right, go say hi to mommy. There's an
um
interruption on the worldwides.
See, like it's like that. It's like, that they want to, say hi because they recognize us, they like us. It's just like this huge big, family, like of people and kids and everybody in between. It's so nice.
It's great. It's a great community. And it's funny to kind of just see how each pocket gets together and celebrates it, right?
Yeah.
Um, one thing I haven't actually asked you, so I know because life's busy and you're always bouncing around and you're doing a million things at once.
Yeah.
Um, but when it comes to like game days, when it's time to watch Benfica, what is your typical? I'm gonna go watch Benfica today. They're gonna play, or tomorrow when they play.
Yep.
Tell me that routine. Tell me how that day goes. I know some days are different, but the average routine for Nina World.
Um. Well, depending on what kind of game it is and who we're seeing, I kind of get the jitters. It's something you feel like it really puts you through an emotional roller coaster. To On game days, especially the Champions League ones, I usually buy the Bleacher Report games
Okay.
for like 2.99. And then my ritual is I just go home, I pop it in, and I eat some chips, and I just get ready. I take my notes if I need to take notes or if I want to take. Because lately I haven't been, because we've been just like, I don't know, so like off our rocker. But I try to, on days that, like the weekends, when we play on weekends, it's good because I work a 9 to 5 job basically. it,
Yeah.
it's hard to be it's hard to watch every single game, because it's usually at 3 o'clock, and 3 o'clock is also our like busiest time of the day, and it's not something I can just like put on pause. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but on weekend, I reserve that 3 to 4 hour window just for me to like get ready and then walk in the comfort of my room, and hopefully, but I don't have any, weird ticks or anything. I always wear a jersey. I think that's, I guess, one. But I always wear a jersey. And when I do watch it, and
But you do you watch it? So it seems like you watch mainly just yourself, you and Benfica on your own in your space, kind of
oh
thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I went to a Casa Benfica twice already, and they both lost. I'm pretty sure the game with Walter
Yeah.
just recently, um, I think they lost that game. I'm pretty sure they did.
So yeah, Walter come down and watch the game with you.
No, I went up to y'all.
Oh, this.
Remember?
Oh yeah,
It
yeah.
was
When we were, yeah, that's. Oh yes,
I
shit,
came to
yes.
see you.
That was, yeah.
That's
You came to
yeah,
see me. Yes, I remember
yeah,
that. Yeah, we had me,
yeah.
Walter's cousin, Cynthia. That's.
Sorry.
No, don't be sorry. It clicked out on it. We can have. I'm gonna ask my friend, the magician Luigi, because he's my bailout on everything. He'll watch all of a sudden, boom, we're back. So anyways, what we were
Okay.
saying was, yeah, we had,
So
but that's nothing that Jeff also was at, right? Or no, Jeff came to, it was me.
no,
No, that was
that
different.
was
That was
when
a different game. Yeah, that was,
when
yeah.
you were
No, it was
when we were
Walter's
supposed to
cousin.
go to the when we were supposed to go to the Forge game, or right, or
Oh yeah, 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 it was that one.
that
Yeah, yeah, that's the
time.
one. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was
So
no, it was
that
recent. It was recent. I had a few like back-to-back Kaza moments during that time period because I know I went down.
right.
It was when the Tasa visited. It was with Jeff Averos. I went down there, and that was its own level
Hmm.
of anarchy, which was
Yeah.
funny.
So that game they had lost,
Yeah.
and the other time I went to another Casa de Benfica in Fall River, it was actually the would that be considered the original Trinity set game, the us versus Pool
Which
for
one?
the for the for the t- for the Tetra?
No, the 36, 36,
Um,
36, etc. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That could have been that one. That's the one I went to Portugal for.
right. No, the one after it.
The Trinity set. But didn't you go? You were there last year for.
I was there for that Trinity set, but what was the game that was the final at home? It was Porto Benfica. It was not last year. It was the year before when they broke our record.
You broke our record.
Yeah, and they started beating a stupid octopus thing in our.
Oh, and I don't know what record they beat, but they did beat us. Yes, that sucks. That's a bad game.
We had a consistent thing. Oh, the Penta game.
The Penta game. Oh, our streak. I know what you're getting
Right.
at now. We were gonna get the Penta,
So
and they gone and
yes,
screwed up. And yeah, and I was at.
correct.
I was
That was
watching.
the
I was
first
watching a.
time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That
Okay.
was my first time in the Casa de Benfica ever, and that was my first time. We lost. So me watching Benfica games out of Casa de Benfica is just not good,
It's not
and
jiving well.
it's not right now. So hopefully the next time I go to a Casa de Benfica and they're playing, they win. I don't even want to chance it at this point. So
Fair
um
enough. Fair enough. Yeah, that's
so I
hilarious.
do by myself. I do it by myself. Sometimes if it's on RTP, me and my dad watch it upstairs,
Cool.
uh, in the TV room. But that's it.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, a bit of a random one, but let's say you're doing like a five versus five kind of. You're making a team up. You can
Okay.
pick five Benfica players that you've been able to throughout your lifetime, in some way or another, watch or hear or listen or top five. What would you? What would be the team that you pick? One of them has to be a keeper, and then four
I mean,
others.
okay, all right. Keepers,
If you picked one keeper, which one would it be?
it would either be Oblak, and or Ederson because I love Ederson. Um, damn.
I know I didn't give you any prep on this either. I just like threw it out.
Right. And then like we have to consider Odie because Odie's so
He's like that new love. Like you like
I
it's
know.
like I'm with you, babe. I'm not saying I like the former one better. I'm just saying
Um,
they had nice
I
tats.
okay, so
Ederson's a
okay,
good
so
pick. Ederson's a good pick.
Edison, yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah,
Edison.
yeah. And then
Um,
on the pitch, you have four players that it could be anyone that you'd like on the
okay.
pitch.
I mean, since he's already on my list, choose that's without a doubt.
Which one again? Sorry,
Um, Eusebiu.
Zevi. Oh, okay. So Zevi. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah. You want to go?
of
Pull,
course.
we gotta pull the ultimate
Yeah,
card right there.
I
Okay.
mean, come
The legend.
on.
Okay.
Yeah, you got to do that. You got to, you know, you got to put in your backup.
And sorry to kind of cut you off on that one. Like Eusebio, just on a sidebar, even though for us we didn't see him play, how
Yeah,
much he was in the club, involved in the club, and it's like one and the same as a representation.
yeah,
And yeah, we always saw the old clips of Eusebio, but he was always there. Whereas some people they talk about former players, but they're retired but never affiliated with the club. Like you got Figu
right,
that never
right.
hangs out anywhere near Sporting.
Yeah, that's true. That's very
So
true.
we got
So
we
him,
got the young gun in the back. We got the legend in the middle there,
yep.
out in front.
Up front, um, Jonas.
Jonas. Okay, so a pairing of Eusebio and
Um,
Jonas. Whew. Oh, that would be a mean
uh,
pairing.
yeah. The next one is Mitroglou,
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah,
and I have one more, right?
yeah.
I would bring back Nuno Gomes too.
Nuno Gomes.
Yeah.
Oof. No mercy. Edison, you cover the back. I'm sending four goddamn good strikers to
Yeah.
wreak hell upon you. That's
That would
awesome.
look so sick.
That would look. It sounds like a really good video game idea. Pick those
Yeah.
guys and play. That's
Right.
awesome.
But yeah, that's an awesome question.
That's a cool
I
one.
never like I never thought of that before.
It's a funny one. Yeah, and there's so many endless opportunities depending on how you're thinking about it that you could pick, and
Yeah,
it's fun. It's
true.
fun.
I
Um,
know.
that's very cool. And then in looking at kind of those players, so you got those domestic players, and you got a mix of both, domestic and foreign. Who would you say like your top Portuguese player is, and the top foreign player would be for Benfica that you've seen that you like?
Top Portuguese player.
You could like
Boy.
pick a current one and one that's like retired if you want to, if you want to split it up.
Let's see. Uh, as far as talent or best stats, I would say my favorite is
Is who's one more time?
Hafa.
Rafa. Okay, Rafa. Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good call. I like
If
Rafa.
we're not talking about, or
Like
if
current, like in the current player, like the current like generation
that's my
for a Portuguese
favorite,
guy. Yeah.
because I see a lot of
Well, the
a
Nations
lot
Cup,
of
he did a fantastic on Nations Cup for Portugal, and it was,
Mhm.
and
just overall a
yeah,
good person. You can see he plays. He means well, and he's a beast. He's a cheek. He's like a cheek. Like, he's so quick, and I love that about him. Dominate. He'll be at like almost back defense, and he'll get up near the box in like 3 seconds. Not even. He just goes. So I like him a lot. Now, as far as the other one, the foreign one, I would do. I would do Nico Gaitan.
Nico Gaitan. Okay, that's on. He's in the news a lot lately. What do you think?
Yeah.
Should he come back
Um,
or should he not come back?
between him and Jonas, too. I love him. I think he should come back because if you watch the speech to for him to his player, that day that he left, it's like he didn't even want to leave. He didn't want to. He felt like he was a part of, this team, this club, the dare say Mystica. Do you think, it's one thing for a Portuguese person who is a fan and is also, on the team, to have Mystica, yeah. But for an outsider to have that too, it's like Luizão. Luizão is from Brazil, and he had that of our ambassadors, which is amazing. I mean, like, you don't really hear that. You like you were saying before, like, Figu doesn't go anywhere near Sporting. Why? Because maybe they didn't do that to him. Maybe they didn't give him that effect.
Yeah, it's a certain level of passion. Now I got to throw out this photo here for everyone to see. But here, look at this beautiful smile, and from I got basically two lovely ladies, Stephanie and Nina, here with Louison himself. Tell
Yeah.
me about that moment. So you all of a sudden you see Louison. Yeah,
That was,
I gotta get a
oh
photo with
my
this.
God.
My God.
It was awesome. And he's such an awesome person. For the 30 seconds that I was with him on one when he was signing my shirt, I just felt like, oh my gosh, like, this is awesome. Like, he was just so nice. Much for everything that you've done for us and for the club. And he said, no, I have to thank you. Like, because, and it was like, oh my God. Like, I was starstruck. It was like so amazing. He was sweet and he was so like what a beautiful person inside and out. Like super sweet, like super laid back. And Steph and I were like basically at the end of the line by the time because we got there like a tad bit late. But like not late as in it was finishing up. It was, like we were the last ones of those people that won to get there. And then we got in line and going in line and you could take or video or whatever, but it was so awesome. And even when we were done, like he hung around and like walked around and like he was talking to me and Steph and like Steph obviously got to kiss his head, like his
Hmm.
his
And
bald
that
head.
photo made a few rounds at
Then
the time. Yeah.
then she went viral. Yes, she went viral, and super cool. We a shit ton because she made it on Court. So it was like so fun. And but then he like took selfies with us and like just such a nice that was like the highlight. I'm pretty sure um on on top of winning the Trinity Seth game and being there. That was like one of the highlights of this year was meeting him. It was really really cool.
And it's neat when you talk about the players who feel that Mystica, whether they're Portuguese or they're foreign. There's something, and you can even see it sometimes on the pitch, and it's not to ever be judgmental, but there's certain guys that they just you feel like they laugh and they cry and there's something that once the feeling is connected.
Hmm.
It's I have a hard time explaining it myself, but
Yeah.
sometimes you just see some individuals on the pitch sometimes. Oh, you got this, you got this.
Yeah.
It's not just you're getting paid to play the game. You're part of the
Right.
club. You're part of that
Yeah.
involvement, and it's cool. It's just a different vibe, and yeah, going back on the Nico Gaitan, if he comes back, I hope if he did, and it's one of these things where I've said, you know, publicly, like if he doesn't come back, I love him. If he comes back, I love him too. I don't really feel the club right now needs him on the pitch per se in terms of talent because we got Survey, Rafa, Pizzi, and we got lots of options. But him coming on, if he decided to come back and he's coming back saying, "Listen, I'm just here for you. I'm here to be part of this. I'm here to let me know how I can be of help."
Yeah.
And if that's what he wants to do and wants to ride out his final days, I will still remember the tears he was shedding when he was kind of like to that final moment at Benfica.
Yeah.
It'd be a sweet thing for him to come back. So
Yeah.
and I
I
sometimes
agree.
and there's something about when you see these guys come back like that. It's special.
Yeah. Yeah. It is. I love it. I think I don't know. I know he wanted to go back to Boca.
That was the one debate he was looking at one point also. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
We'll see. We'll see where it ends
we'll
up,
see.
right?
Yeah.
So I'd be remiss if I don't spend a good bit of time on this. The Aguish.
Hmm.
So you got yourself, Mariana,
Yes.
and Cynthia.
Hmm.
Um, you guys had a blast together and doing the show and all the fun stuff.
Yeah, we
Um,
do. I love it. I look forward to it. It's so much fun.
listen, nothing better than talking Benfica.
And especially with like people you love.
Yeah,
So it's like
that's a huge
even
help. That's
it's
a
like
huge help.
10 times better.
It's good laughs, good fun.
Yeah.
Um, tell me, just I got to pick. So let's say, and again, these are we never prepare any of these questions. More just to, in some cases some people ask, but in our case for this one, we didn't prep nothing. We're just shooting the shit to be honest.
Yeah.
Um, so the Aguish, if you're to kind of say, okay, your favorite moment that flashes to the top of your head, you think of like, what's been your favorite moment in a show or that while you've been doing it, something random that's come up that when someone goes, oh, what's been just a pops in? What's the first thing that's kind of flashing?
I don't know. I feel like all of it is so much fun. You can't pinpoint one thing. But like
Was there like an oh shit moment? Like, oh, this isn't going right now, nothing's working or something like that?
yeah, that too. Because every time you've said, "Hey, I'm you," right now, I feel like, oh my god, this is gonna be a shit show, just like the beginning of that first the podcast just recently where we just talked the whole entire intro, and Cynthia forgot to unmute our mic or mute our mic. So where when she thought they you guys heard us was just at the end, but in actuality it was the whole intro. So oh my god. Oh, lots of funny things like crack dooku um is funny,
Crack the
inside
coup.
joke. Anna loves that one actually. Just silly things, silly moments, things that we've we kind of get off topic a lot and we just go into our own world and we're like, oh crap, we got back on track. um but it's just so much fun, like, because it's unscripted, uh it's unprofessional fun, you know and that's what matters is we have fun, we stick to a sort of curriculum, basically, where we do the intros, we talk about what we're gonna do, what we're gonna talk about. Mariana does the lineup, we go through it one by one, you know telling
Kind of like
our
the structure.
no.
And the one thing I
At the
find,
end we do questions, mulidad, so
uh,
then it's over, but we get so off topic on so much.
I'll be honest, as someone that I do get a kick out of it. The one thing I gotta say, like the core group that you have that tunes in,
Yeah,
the chat is hilarious. It's just it's
yeah,
fun. It's fun. It's a
it
lot of
is
fun
awesome.
bantering, a lot of
Hmm.
love, a lot of ribbing, a lot of goofing off, and that's
Yeah,
usually what it's
but
all
it's
about.
all, don't kick anybody down. We don't. I mean, as far as trash, the teams and stuff. To the point where we know we're pretty good with that stuff when we have sportingistas
Yeah.
tuning in. So it is respectful to a degree. But we like to have fun. We like to just talk, and sometimes we butt heads with different opinions, but everybody isn't the same, so it's just that's how it goes.
So I did want to ask. So you spent a bit of time on the Portuguese channel on your local area.
Yes.
So I'm just gonna toss that
Hmm.
up there a little bit. Hey,
Yes.
how was that experience?
It was awesome. So somebody I know, her name is Joanne. She knew that, and the or a woman commentator, and but they didn't know who would want to commentate on the footy, and who know you know I mean, I wouldn't say, but from given the fact that we only talk about the past game, and that's what I do for the Águias anyway, I would watch. But the only thing was, I'd have to watch all of the weekend games from the big three. So I had to watch sports, so I had to keep up with that. Um, but she said, "Hey, we're looking for Tater. Do you mind coming in for an interview? If you'd like to do it." And I said, "Yeah, sure." So I met with her and Ricardo Farias, pretty much the channel's like front guy, a majority of the programs, and he's a Sportingista. Joanna's a Benfiquista, and so was myself. They ended up calling me and saying that they wanted me on the. I said yes, and they put me on a panel with another. The host, the show's host, was a Portista. So it was funny because we're all young, so we don't have things to like argue really about. Like, there's nothing political. There was never anything political and the show was not meant for that. The show was
Just
just to analyze
enjoy, talk,
and
and
analyze, just like what we do at the
yeah,
Águias without getting off topic.
yeah, a little bit more. Well, it's a
A little
show.
bit more professional, right?
Yeah,
So I had to be on top of it, the stuff.
gotta
But
wear.
the only
You
thing
gotta
was,
you gotta make sure you got a proper top on.
right, the few episodes, the first few was a little bit hard. But then Ricardo, which is the show host, he ended up sending us what he was going to talk about. So it was easier for us to kind of know already, okay, what are we know? And it went fine. I mean, I loved it. It was so much fun, and the guys were so nice, very welcoming to me, and made me feel a little bit better, and more comfortable. You could still tell sometimes I was a little nervous, also because Ricardo and Flavio was there from the continent, so like they're so much better than mine. And like then I show up, this little Azorian girl, and I'm like trying to speak, proper and stuff. So I tried, and I feel like at times I kind of like
I
choked.
love it. I love it.
I like choked sometimes, and I was like, and then I was like, oh, I can say it in Mikolas. Like, who cares? Like, I don't really care. So, but it was fun. I had so much fun. Obviously, I the public and the Portuguese public. On top of that, I work at a bank in New Bedford, and so ever since then, it was like, oh, from the show. Oh my god! Like they were just like
They
so
look at you. They
starstruck.
look at you like you looked at Louison. Like
Yeah, basically.
Caroline. Oh,
Yeah, well, yeah,
shush.
they
Ela
called
é
me Paulina
alta.
on the show, so
Bolinha.
but no, baixinha.
Oh, baixinha.
Yeah.
Ela é bem
Um
pequenina. Olha a miúda.
yeah,
Calm,
basically.
calm.
That's why Paulina, literally. They call me that. So but no, it was fun. I had so much fun. They didn't put the show out yet again, but I think they're going to do it um hopefully soon, and I hope they call me again. So
It's a fun experience though, and it's fun how
it
like
was it
you
was
have you
nice.
get the ability, and I gotta say it's as much as we love Benfica, it's nice and refreshing to sit down with someone that's a Sporting fan, someone that's a Porto fan, and have a nice conversation about
And
the
it was
sport
also
that we
good
enjoy.
because you know in a way, um I kind of learned a little bit of the other two teams. You know, if you would have asked,
No, no,
like,
but it's interesting to get their view on like
because
how they see things, right? It's a little different.
to comment, because on the show, because that would just ruffle people's feathers too hard, and people would be like, well, they're just talking about it because they're Benfiquistas, so like they're talking about it like this way. Because so we came at it at a different approach, where we just basically, if Porto had a good game, I would, not, sing praises to them, but I would give credit where credit was due. And the same thing for sport.
You
So,
want to be doing the ones like you see in Portugal, where if Sporting has a good game or Porto has a good game, and you get the commentator on there, it was garbage, it was all bad.
yeah,
This
yeah,
all that,
yeah. No,
you know what I
no,
mean?
no.
They just go there like stirring the pot to like get
If
to create
there was
anxiety. That's all they're trying to do.
right, which we are not trying to do on that
Yeah.
show. Excuse me. If there was a bad call by a ref or this or that, we wouldn't necessarily use that terminology, but we would say it was a little unfair of the ref to give this card, because when you take a look at it from a different angle, maybe it didn't look like a red card, maybe it didn't look like a penalty. um we try to keep it as neutral as possible, and just act like we weren't a fan, because when I was actually watching those games, even Benfica games, I took it so serious that I actually started to watch as just a football fan and not an actual club fan, so that way I could kind of watch everything and not be like, nah, that wasn't that. But if I actually took a good look at a certain play, I would say, okay, that was in favor of Purs. And so, um, I would look at it really differently. Of course, I'm not on the show now, so I can watch it,
The way you
as
enjoy
we
it,
talk.
yeah. So no,
As
but
we talk.
sometimes when there's
But
like a controversial call per se, and it's Benfica playing, and let's say it's a Benfica player that's benefiting from the call. What I do personally to try to when I hear there's commotion about something, and when I watched it, it looked perfectly fine. I'll go, if that guy was wearing a Porto jersey instead of a Benfica jersey, how would I react? And I'll rewatch it,
right,
trying to picture that, as hard as that
right.
is, and as disgusting as it'd be.
Oh,
But you look at that, and you kind of go, I could kind of see, I could see why. Oh, that was a little,
yeah,
you know what I mean? And you try to take that
yeah.
perspective, and it's kind of healthy to do that because it's good, and it's also very.
Because
Go ahead, yeah.
you gotta like kind of also feed your mind and like not have it be such a one track. You have to kind of look at it from everyone's. It's like any sort of discussion. Why is this person saying this? Why is this person saying this? Why do they feel this way? You have to look at it from every kind of point of view where, you know, where you're not just sympathizing, you're just trying to figure out what happened, and what is the right call for this situation. So it definitely opened my eyes more a little bit to um a lot of even just acceptance with, you know other games. Like, okay, this was a bad call, and it's for poor, so whatever, you got to deal with it, but you got to look into it. I think it kind of helped me even as a fan to understand and appreciate the game a little bit more too. And especially, we take advantage of it sometimes where it's like, yeah, it's a bad call, whatever, who cares, we benefited it, just drop it. No, you gotta look. you know I mean, at the end of 90 minutes, you can say that all you want, but in the moment you have to see what's right and what's wrong.
Yeah,
you know
and it's yeah, it definitely is, and it's good to kind of get it objectively out. And it's very different. Like when we're talking to other Benfiquistas or we're shooting the shit about Benfica, we can sometimes be critical because it's different. You're talking to another Benfiquista saying, "Oh, I wish this guy was better. I don't like seeing this guy play." But
hmm
even the guy that's like, let's say the player, and let's use this as an example. Who's a player right now in Benfica you're not as big of a fan of? It's not that you dislike him, but if you look at players we have typically that are getting some minutes, which one that you kind of go, I'm not as. I wish I saw someone else on the pitch instead of him.
well, especially in the last few games, Kyle Lucas, I don't see why you would put him in. Especially, I mean, this last game, I was just thinking of the game before where they put Kyle Lucas,
The
and then
dying
we
seconds, and we lost.
we
Yeah,
gave up
yeah,
our two nothing lead. So,
yeah. So that's
you
a good
know,
example. Here's a player that you're not in love with in any shape or form, and I think you can make a hugely favorable argument of why he didn't deserve to be on the pitch. He's a funny signing, and but walks
yeah,
in a Portish and he goes, "Oh, that guy, he looks like a piece of shit." And you're gonna be, "Hey, fuck off." It's
basically,
funny how like
yeah,
that happens.
basically.
It's kind of
hmm
like when you got family and you might have like a rub, or you have like a tight friend, you have a rub with them sometimes,
hmm
and it's like whatever. But at the same time, when someone from outside of that family walks in, it's like, oh no no no, I make fun of
Yeah,
him. You don't make fun of him.
yeah, 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 yeah.
But
Exactly,
it's so
exactly.
it makes it goes to show, in my opinion, how much harder it is what you were trying to do, being with a Sportingista, being with a Portista, being very cordial, and then when something happens with Benfica, which is not really in Benfica's favor, to kind of sit there and kind of maybe criticize that Benfiquista and have a Sportingista and a Portista next to you, yeah, yeah, that guy did a shit play. He does
hmm
suck. And it's like, yo, shut up. But not in that mean kind of way, because I know
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
they're
yeah,
very
yeah.
polite. But you need to have like the right mentality to accept the criticism, and it's easier to accept criticism from your own. It's kind of like when
Right.
you got a really good friend and you ask them, "Does this top look good?" They're like, "Well, it looks okay, but I'd probably do ABC different." Versus when it's someone that you kind of don't you have a rub with, and they tell you that
hmm
it's a different level. It's the
Yeah,
same exact comment, but it just somehow
yeah,
can feel so much different. It's funny.
yeah.
It's funny how life's like
Exactly.
that.
Yeah.
So one other thing before, let's say we wrap it up. If there is one thing that someone right now around the world that decided to click this video is and stayed on this long to the bitter end to go, man, I wish they asked Nina about this or that, if there was one more thing you could share with the world about yourself being a Benfiquista, what would you toss out there that we didn't touch on?
Um, just it's a club that I feel is driven by love. I think it's just driven by togetherness. It's driven by it's the people, the fans. I think if you wanted to start getting into the soccer scene, I mean, it's not like Portuguese soccer is something that would be somebody's first choice, but I would just reconsider it just because you maybe meet me or Mario, and you might meet somebody who knows us, and the whole group in itself. And I think what we have going on right now is so beautiful. I think we have such a great relationship. If I needed something despite our difference, like in distance, right? If I picked up the phone at 2 a.m. and called Mario because I just needed to talk, he would be right there on the phone with
I
me.
always got you.
And and that it's the same thing with Cynthia. It's the same thing with Mariana. Same thing with Timo. Like anybody. We all got each other's backs because we came from this. Like our interaction online became something greater. And and I want to mention Carrie. I mean, how can I not? Carrie is, was our best friend, was a good person to anybody and anyone, regardless of the color of your jersey. And I think, that is somebody we should follow as an example, to be kind to one another and to, really, take care of our relationships, to don't take advantage of this. And I think that even especially meeting all of you, to the point where every time I go to visit my family in Canada from my dad's side, you guys are the people that I want to see too. I got to fit you guys into my schedule now because you guys are family too now. So it's just something, I think, if you want to go through something and you want to get into something, this would probably be one of the best teams with, because, uh, even, even, even Pete, um, I admire Pete's love for our country and our team. I think, as somebody who is a foreigner, who is totally British, how he even got into this is crazy. And when he talks about uh Lisbon, he says we. Oh, we in Lisbon do this. We in Lisbon. And he was like, "Oh yeah, we usually do." Speaking of the team, and speaking of, like, he's already part of that country. Like he could be Portuguese if he wanted. Like I would be the first person to write a huge reference for to be Portuguese if he wanted to
Oh,
ever
he
go.
he definitely would
You
get
know,
the stamp of
um
approval by so many people. What an amazing guy.
so
And for those who
he's awesome.
we got like an old, this is the second year I'm trying this Benfica Worldwide.
Yep.
We do Benfica after 90 is one thing, but the Benfica Worldwide was something we tried, we experimented with early on, and just with the timing with all the games, we did a few of them. But he's one of the individuals I had the pleasure of getting on one of the original shows, which I had.
Yeah.
Sometimes the people I've had early on, I don't know if I'll ever redo it one day, but
Yep.
um, because I love talking with them. They're great people, and Pete's an amazing person. Um, but it was early on learnings, but it's an older video. It's
Hmm.
done on their old format. It's still worth checking out. He's such a
Yeah.
great guy, nice guy. I absolutely love
He
him.
is. He is.
Um,
He's such a peach. I love him so much.
but yeah, you're right. It's I think we can leave it off on that note. Is that Benfica is like a family that's constantly having babies and knows nothing about birth control. You just keep adding more and more
Yeah.
people, and just more and more people
Basically.
keep coming out, and it's just like big smiles, and
Hmm.
there's a certain level of I tell you, I take my little guy to soccer, is what we call it
Hmm.
in Canada and the U.S. to play. He's a little guy. It's cold in winter. I got a nice Benfica jacket on with the logo. and all of a sudden I'll see a guy look, hey, Benfiquista, and this big smile on his face. And I'll
Yeah.
sometimes randomly walking down the street and I'll see a guy with like
Yeah.
a hat on, or like right now you got your toque on. And if I see someone with a toque on, you look and you smile and you go, hey, I like your toque. And then right away
Yeah.
they know. And it's this funny, we look like a bunch of idiots, these big ass smiles. I just met you for the
Yeah.
first time, but I like you.
That's funny. Yeah.
It's amazing. So it's
That's
honestly, thank you so much for
Thank
joining
you for
me
having me.
tonight.
This is so much
I know.
fun.
I apologize to Alex. I didn't let him get one question in, unfortunately, but I'll let him.
And he had a lot to say to me. So
He came out. He's like, okay, huh, let's do this, and
yeah.
just he saw Nina, and like many people on the street, they freeze up. They go, hey, she was on that TV show.
Oh my
He
god.
choked up. Love you.
I love you too, Mario. Thank you so much.
Anytime.